Merrill's ready to play there as well.
I think you need to bring out your A game for that course, by the way, because the tees are, I mean, each hole is, so complicated, and each of them have a name to them.
Councilmember Shade, we are live on YouTube now.
Okay, we're still waiting for Councilmember Waring, and I believe the mayor I just hung up with a few seconds ago.
Yeah, the mayor should be on any second now.
Okay. Ross, you're looking pretty cool, baby.
Thanks, man. How are you doing?
I look good. I feel good. I think you and I went to the same barber, looks like.
I just came back from a tour of Digital Corridor and building. It's very cool.
Of the Muni?
No, the Digital Corridor, new building, Morrison.
Oh, the Digital Corridor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were breaking. I heard digital and tour.
Iron Bridge, or whatever we're calling it. Iron Bridge,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's very cool. It's going to be a great building. The drop ceilings in the garage entrance are a little over the top. They're going to blow away in the first hurricane, but other than that, it's a cool building.
Councilmember Pell, did you have a good New Year?
Thank you for asking. I did, as a matter of fact. I'll happily trade 2020 for 5,781. Maybe from a just pure numerical standpoint, we'll have a better shot.
Well, my wife said she just wants to put 2020 in a bottle and put it in a ocean, let it just float out somewhere to never land.
That's right.
Yes, I think it's a great opportunity.
Hello, Mr.
Well,
Chairman.
we don't have, sir.
Hello, hope everybody had a good weekend.
Mayor.
We did. So I think we have a quorum. I know we're missing Councilmember Waring. When we wait one more minute, and then we can jump right into this and call on Councilmember Appel to give us either a moment of silence or some words of wisdom about the Jewish New Year.
Well, thank you, Councilmember or Chairman Shayed. And it occurred to me as I was looking through the agenda over the weekend that I think I've used up all my moments of silence. I think that at a certain point, even Jewish people have to come up with a prayer sometimes. So I went online and I found something I'd like to read that I think has some good timing with what we're dealing with today. This is a brief quotation from Rabbi David Saperstein. He says, quote, "In the Jewish tradition, the separation between prayer and action is slight. We're mindful of the admonition in Isaiah where God says, quote, I don't want your fast and your sacrifice. I want you to deal your bread to the hungry, tear apart the chains of the oppressed," end quote. And Leviticus 19 tells us that to be holy in the way of God is holy, means to set aside a corner of our fields for the poor and homeless, to pay the laborer a timely and fair wage, and to remove stumbling blocks. These are religious activities just as much as prayer is. They are all woven together. After participating in the Civil Rights March in Selma, Alabama, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of this century's great religious figures and a close colleague of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said, quote, "It felt like my feet were praying," end quote. Prayer is not just the communication we have with God, it is also the work we do to make God's values real to the world. I think God listens to both kinds of prayer with equal joy. And I thought that was, good with the Jewish New Year over the past weekend, as well as the passing of probably one of the greatest Jewish living legends of our time, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I think she's somebody who, lived her, religion through her actions and her contributions to the world. And I think if we all learn a little bit from that experience, we can make the world a better place. So with that, I will end my, I don't know if that was an invocation or what, but that's what I got for you today.
I'm gonna say amen to it. Amen.
Nice,
Amen.
thank you.
Thank you. I think it was beautiful, and it's, you're right, it's right on point for our time, and I think we're all mourning Justice Ginsburg's death. She was just a giant among giants, and this woman who weighed less than 100 pounds carried a big bat, let me tell you, and she knew how to swing it beautifully. And we were better off because of her, and we could be much worse off with her loss and no longer on the Supreme Court. So with that being said, I appreciate those words, and we'll take them to heart. The first item of business on our agenda is the approval of the September the 8th minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move for approval. I move for approval.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay. All right, we're moving right into item number A, request authorization for the mayor to execute a change order to the agreement for voluntary cleanup contract services. This looks like an increase of just under $10,000. Who's going to enlighten us on this project?
That's me, Councilmember Shade.
Hey, Mr.
This is a increase to the
I
current.
like your bow tie, by
Sorry.
the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it. This is an increase to the current scope of work under the voluntary cleanup contract. There was actually one contract governing the low line property and the affordable housing parcel, which is at the southern tip of F Street along the on-ramp from the Septima Clark onto 26. The contract amount has increased a little over $9,000. The increased scope of work is what's required by DHEC based on the initial phase 2, quote unquote, environmental assessment of the property. There's a portion of the property that it had high concentrations of lead, so they had to do additional soil testing, and then they also have to prepare a corrective measures plan, which is how you're going to deal with the contaminated soil based on that new test, and a media management plan, which is how you're going to put measures into effect to sort of isolate it while you're removing it or while you're doing other activities on the property. So that's what's covered by the increased scope of work. It will come out of a fee in lieu, the fee in lieu. And there's a timing issue because it's, we're trying to, well, we've already posted the RFP for the property, for the affordable housing site. And this is just an increase for the affordable housing site. We need to do an addendum to it based on the results of this, and this will inform how the property is developed for responding bidders. And we need to get that process completed soon because the responding bidder will want to qualify for low-income housing credits, which are due in March of 2021. The applications for those to the state. So I guess that's the timing issue with it. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay.
I move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions for Mr. McQueenie? Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next is, I love this one, the MOU for Enough Pie mural. I love some of the attachments. We're not voting on any of these, I don't think, but this is just voting on the MOU. So who's going to enlighten us on Enough Pie?
I can do that, sir. This is Janie Borden, and what we have.
Hello, Janie.
Hello. What we have for your approval today is an agreement between the city and Enough Pie for the installation of an artistic mural on the I-26 bridge columns between Cypress and Romney Street. And this is to assist with the beautification of Vivian Moultrie Park. And the mural did go through the city's Parks Department for approval. And Enough Pie will be providing the labor and materials for the installation.
So these things have been, the murals themselves have been approved.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve item number B.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion about these murals? Anybody have a favorite one they want to talk about? All right. Well, Jamie, thank you for that. And I appreciate Enough Pie undertaking this work. It looks pretty interesting and entertaining. All those in favor of item B, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item C, approve an agreement to buy and sell real estate in Shade Tree Holdings for $800,000. I think this is for a new fire station on Johns Island. So Lee, are you going to lead us in this one? Ms.
Sure,
Bailey?
Chairman Shade. Sure, Chairman Shade. I'm happy to. You're correct. This is it's a vacant parcel. It's located at the intersection of Wilkes Battery Boulevard and Maybank Highway, which is located in front of the apartments at Shade Tree for anyone who's familiar with where those are on Johns Island. This is a really desirable location, both based on estimated call response times and the access to Maybank Highway. So I know the fire department and capital projects are very happy with this location and would really love to proceed with closing on it.
Excellent. All right. Is there a motion I'll entertain to approve item C first? Ms. Jackson?
Approval. I'm assuming that the price has already been appraised. Is that right?
Yeah, let's come back in just one second. Let's just go through this process first, and then I'll answer that question for you.
I move.
I'll
Is
move
there a
for approval.
second to Ms. Jackson's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. So Carol, I did receive a copy of the appraisal for that at $800,000. I didn't go through it with a fine tooth comb, but I did review it. Ms. Bailey sent that to me earlier this morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
So I would just maybe state the obvious that this is a real commitment on our city's part to further serve the citizens of Johns Island with additional fire protection services. Once we get the fire station built, it's closer to River Road than our existing fire station that's over there. So it basically will provide great access and coverage for more of the eastern side of Johns Island. The property is ready for development. It's already cleared. We'll get our design team going to put a station there and consider whether other city services could be made available at that facility as well. But we've been trying to put this together for a little while now, and I'm glad that it's coming to council. And again, I think it's a big step for our citizens over on Johns Island.
So, Mr. Mayor, or maybe Ms. Bailey can answer this for us. Is this going to be a second fire station on Johns Island, or is this going to replace that one
Second one.
station? The second one.
Second one, our existing one is over on Bohicket Road, close to Main and Maybank. And this one will be closer to the intersection of River and Maybank. So kind of cover both ends, if you will, of the island. So it's a very strategic location. And yeah, be our second station on Johns Island.
I met with Jason Kronsberg and Amy and our chief, just sort of get a sense of the needs of the fire department. And this certainly fits into that, their plans. So without any further discussion, unless there's any other questions from anybody, I'll call the question. All those in favor of item number C for the purchase of this land for our second fire station on Johns Island, please signify by saying yes.
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 Councilman Waring, good seeing you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right. The last item is a approval for annexation on Christian Road in Councilman Waring's district. I'll entertain a motion from
Move for
Councilmember
approval.
Waring.
I've been lighting it up lately, man.
You're racking them up.
I
Is there
know.
a second?
Councilmember
second?
Bell, I think he's past you now.
No, man.
I got to step it up.
I assume there's a second for Councilman.
See, it's that line
Councilmember
that.
Bell.
I seconded, Chairman.
Okay.
See, I'm gonna tell you
What's
my
that,
secret.
Councilmember Waring?
I'm gonna tell you
Yes,
my
sir.
secret. But don't tell Councilman Appel my secret. But anyway, I tell him that when you with the local option sales tax you annex into the city, you save enough money. In some cases, you actually can go on a cruise. That's true. And property taxes, you save a lot of money in property taxes.
You do. Excellent. Well, we appreciate you having a little competition to bring in more folks to the city. It makes better government.
You were doing pretty good yourself, man.
I had a little bit of a run, and I gotta keep up with you guys. So this is good. It's just filling in these little rabbit holes are really important for us.
Yeah.
And I've talked to our planning department, and he's going to give us an update at our next October meeting of real estate to see what kind of strategy we can incorporate to cover some of these rabbit holes that are out there. They're within our district. Some of these unincorporated areas are literally one house down from majority of other houses in the subdivision or neighborhood.
No,
Which
you're
is
right.
it's just not good government. It really isn't good government when you send two garbage trucks to pick up the same, literally the same trash, a day or two apart. I mean, it's just,
And it unnecessarily overcomplicates stormwater issues,
Yes.
all kinds of other issues. Wouldn't it be cool if we could identify the donut holes, figure out the exact amount of tax savings, and like do some sort of mailer or some sort of postcard or something like that? Wonder if that might be something we can do to, invite people or just put it on people's radar.
Well,
yes, sir, Mr. Perry.
I tell you, I got one thing, and this is just something not to answer today, but I'm wondering, Mr. Mayor and fellow council members, if, do we have a sit down with the people at St. Andrews PSD and, just have a serious talk as to maybe putting something together. Maybe obviously having to take in some of their people, but we would need them if we had their ground to cover. Maybe we can, the sanitation people and fire people, because we have reciprocal agreements anyway when it comes to fire. I don't know that that conversation may not be that far off, Mr. Mayor, because as opposed to slow death of 1,000 cuts, that's what they're facing.
We're hoping to beat you to that game plan, Councilmember Waring, on James Island. Our Environmental Services Department has worked with JIPSD to have 800 houses that we've figured out we could share routes so that we don't have to send trucks in duplicate down the streets, every
Right.
Unfortunately, we had some resistance early on from longstanding James Islanders who didn't want their trash picked up by the city. But
Wow.
as the mayor knows, literally, I was at a meeting where they said they would be, before that would happen. But in the meantime, our guys have worked with their guys to cooperate about debris, especially last year after the hurricane. We helped them stage their James Island debris so they didn't have to haul it up, an hour away where the county's making us haul stuff now. And we've really made friends, I think, among the staff and the work of the PSD and the city. So the mayor sealed that deal this past week when we donated 2 recycled trucks that we were about to put on the.
Right.
Yeah, it was very good.
We gave them to the PSD after they had a fire of 4 debris pickup trucks, scows. Anyway, I do think that we're going to make that happen. we were sort of waiting for this fall's, season to go by in case we all had to deal with storms, and hopefully that's going to pass us by. And if not by the end of the year, by the first of the year, we'll be piloting a couple of neighborhoods so that the citizens can get a comfort level that it all works fine. And then we're going to be sharing those swapping 800 houses, so that we'll do 400 that the PSD currently picks up on a checkerboard, and they'll pick up 800 or 400 for the city. So that's going to be a big savings.
That sounds
I
promising.
challenge you, go ahead and get the St. Andrews PSD, and let's have a competition.
Well, we'll see. Certainly collaboration makes sense. I tell you what, this is another subject, Mr. Chairman, but this, anybody see the real
Let me
estate?
interrupt you for 1 minute, Mr. Waring. Let's just call the question. real
Okay,
quick,
good,
before we
good,
forget.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Then we'll come back to you. All
right.
those in favor of item D for the annexation, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I figured
you're
we
right. You're right.
That's
I was digressing.
just want to close out business.
I want to give a compliment. If anybody read the real estate insert in, was it Sunday's paper? Or
Saturday, yeah.
paper, it was very good for James Island, man. If
Yeah,
I had known any better, Councilor Jackson, I thought you had that put in the paper, but it was done. If anybody hadn't seen it, go back and read it. It's an interesting read.
Yeah, it's been a well-kept secret for a long time, but the cat's out of the bag now, so.
Well, I knew it because my daughter
Yeah.
lives off of James Island over there, off of Harbor View Road. And that area over there is just jumping.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Very good. So Bethany, make sure that we put on our agenda for next week, an update from Jacob Lindsay on annexation updates. And we also talked about our archaeology ordinance, which is, by the way, if you read the article in Sunday's paper.
Yes,
about,
that would be good.
that as well. And he and I have had some very good conversations about that. So he's give us an update on, archaeology ordinance and maybe some alternatives to that in regards. We are, as Councilman Rappel says, we get whiplash for the speed of some of these committee meetings, which I am not opposed to, but we've covered all of our business. Is there anything else that we need to bring in front of this committee at this time? Mr. Mayor?
I was just going to say,
You faded out, I'm sorry.
see you at 4
Mr. Mayor.
o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll,
All right,
we'll see you at 4 o'clock. Thank you all very much.
Thank
We
you.
are adjourned.
Thanks, y'all.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.